Every choice you have made has led you to this moment.
In Season 7 of Star Wars The Clone Wars, we got to see arguably one of the best lightsaber duels of all time between Ahsoka Tano and Darth Maul. The creation of this fight actually involved the use of motion capture from Lauren Mary Kim as Ahsoka and Ray Park as Maul, making it extremely realistic and exciting. However, the winner of this fight has been heavily debated as there is not a definitive victor. So, the question remains, who won this fight? In order to answer that question, I will use these 5 categories. To start, let's discuss the first category, dueling. The central element of this fight is lightsaber combat, so it's critical to determine which duelist was superior. Overall, I think that both Ahsoka and Maul are excellent duelists, which results in a close contest. Neither of them are actually able to hit each other with their lightsaber blades. However, the key difference that I see between Ahsoka and Maul in this duel is in disarmament. In total, Maul manages to use his lightsaber to disarm Ahsoka of a lightsaber 3 different times. The first disarm occurs here in the palace, where Maul disarms Ahsoka of her right lightsaber. Then the second disarm occurs right there, her right lightsaber again. And then Ahsoka now left with only the one lightsaber that was originally in her left hand, and Maul disarms her of that one as well. In contrast, Ahsoka is unable to disarm Maul of his lightsaber even once with her lightsaber. At the very end of the fight, Ahsoka does disarm Maul, but without the use of her own lightsaber, so it does not count for this dueling category. Maul being able to disarm Ahsoka multiple times throughout this duel definitely displayed his dominance as a duelist. Therefore, in my opinion, Maul decisively wins this dueling category. Next, I want to discuss the hand-to-hand combat that occurs during this fight. Both Ahsoka and Maul are talented martial artists, and both of them manage to land multiple strikes against the other. To compare, let's count how many strikes each of them land. In total, Ahsoka lands 4 strikes against Maul. She lands 2 kicks to his head, lands an elbow to his head, and falls onto her back so she can kick him over herself and out of a window in the palace. Maul, on the other hand, only lands 2 strikes against Ahsoka. He lands an elbow to her head and a kick to her torso. In terms of how extreme each of the strikes are, both Ahsoka and Maul each land 1 strike that knocks the other off of their feet. With Ahsoka, this occurred when she threw Maul out of the palace, and with Maul, this happened when he kicked Ahsoka in the torso on the scaffolding. The other 3 strikes from Ahsoka and the other 1 strike from Maul landed, but they failed to knock the opponent off of their feet. With Ahsoka landing twice as many strikes as Maul, and with Ahsoka and Maul landing an equal number of knockdown strikes, I think Ahsoka's the clear winner of the hand-to-hand combat category. The third category that I want to address is concerned with the Force and how Ahsoka and Maul use it against each other. Throughout the entire fight, I'm sure that both Ahsoka and Maul use the Force to maintain their stamina and focus. In addition, Ahsoka and Maul definitely use the Force for various jumps and flips. As for overt usages of the Force, however, there are only a few in this fight. On Ahsoka's side, she clearly uses the Force to retrieve her lightsaber in the palace, and she also uses it to throw Maul out of the palace through the window, judging by the distance he was thrown. On Maul's side, he clearly uses the Force when he kicks Ahsoka in the torso and she is thrown back pretty far. In my opinion, neither Ahsoka nor Maul are able to use the Force to get the better of their opponent. They mix the Force into their fight as needed, but it's rarely used to deal damage. The only main instances in which damage is dealt is when Ahsoka throws Maul out of the palace and when Maul kicks Ahsoka in the torso on the scaffolding. When Ahsoka retrieves her lightsaber in the palace, Maul is able to jump over it, and thus avoid any damage. This means that Ahsoka and Maul each have only one key moment where they're able to hurt their opponent with the Force. As a result, I see no significant advantage for either opponent in the Force category. Therefore, I believe that this category is a draw. The fourth category that I want to cover is about the overall damage that Ahsoka and Maul are able to deal to each other. This category includes damage dealt from dueling, hand-to-hand combat, the Force, and any other means, as long as the damage is directly or indirectly caused by one of the fighters. While I believe that Maul was the superior duelist in this fight, as I said earlier, neither fighter was able to deal any kind of significant damage with their lightsabers. In the few instances in which the Force was overtly used, some damage was dealt, but it was pretty equal between Ahsoka and Maul. When Ahsoka threw Maul through a window, I imagine that Maul felt the impact of the glass. Likewise, when Maul kicked Ahsoka and she was thrown across the scaffolding and almost fell, I imagine that it was painful. However, these two moments are the only two main usages of the Force that cause damage. Considering that the damage from each of these two moments is roughly equal, I believe that Ahsoka and Maul are also equal on damage dealt with the Force. The big difference in damage, however, can be seen in the hand-to-hand combat category. With a 4-2 striking advantage in Ahsoka's favor, and an equal amount of knockdown strikes between Ahsoka and Maul, Ahsoka clearly deals more damage to Maul in this category. With Ahsoka and Maul's damage output being equal in the dueling and Force categories, and with no additional damage coming from any other means that I can see, the only remaining factor to consider is hand-to-hand combat. With Ahsoka having a decisive edge in hand-to-hand combat in this fight, I believe that Ahsoka is the winner of the overall damage dealt category. For the fifth and final category, I want to discuss the key positions that Ahsoka and Maul have throughout their fight. When I say key positions, I'm referring to moments where a fighter is in a dominant spot and their opponent is in a precarious spot. In other words, a fighter that has a key position is close to ending the fight. For Ahsoka, I only see one moment where she has a key position, and that is at the very end of the fight. In this key position, Maul has lost his lightsaber and fallen off of the scaffolding, and Ahsoka is holding him mid-air with the Force. In addition to having the high ground, Ahsoka is in control of Maul with the Force, putting her in a dominant spot. However, Ahsoka has also lost her lightsabers at this point, and if the clones and Mandalorians hadn't shown up in gunships to assist her, I'm pretty confident that Maul could have escaped her control. Without her lightsabers or the ability to hold Maul in place forever, Ahsoka would need to do one of two things. She could drop Maul and let him fall to the ground, which he could easily survive with the Force, or she could bring him back up to the scaffolding so they could continue to fight hand to hand. In either scenario, Maul would still be able to fight, meaning that without the interference of the clones and Mandalorians, Ahsoka would not have been able to end the fight in this moment. As a result, I believe that Ahsoka's key position is only moderately strong. As a side note, I do not believe that Ahsoka had a key position when she threw Maul out of the palace through a window. After Ahsoka gets up, catches her breath, jumps out of the window, and finds Maul, he's already gotten back up and made his way to the top of a building. As a result, Maul was never in a precarious situation where Ahsoka could have finished the fight in that moment. With this not counted as a key position for Ahsoka, she only has one key position in the entire fight. For Maul, I actually see two key positions throughout this fight. His first key position is when he kicks Ahsoka in the torso on the scaffolding, which throws her back a good distance and almost causes her to fall off. Ahsoka is able to hang on and keep her two lightsabers, but she is in a very precarious situation just holding on with two arms. As a result, Maul, who is still standing with his lightsaber, has a very good opportunity to take Ahsoka out and end the fight. However, at that very moment, he is contacted by a ship, so he switches his attention to making his escape, which prevents him from pursuing Ahsoka. This allows Ahsoka to get back up, making this a missed opportunity for Maul. If the distraction of the ship had never occurred, I'm confident that Maul had a solid chance to end the fight right here, making this a strong key position for him. Maul's second key position comes when he has Ahsoka disarmed both lightsabers and pinned at the lower end of a beam on the scaffolding. With the high ground and his lightsaber, he is definitely in a dominant spot. However, when he goes in for the kill, Ahsoka is able to dodge all of his strikes, disarm him, and cause him to fall off the scaffolding and into her control with the Force. As a result, this is only a moderately strong key position for Maul, in my opinion. When comparing key positions between Ahsoka and Maul, the superior fighter in this area is clear. With the 2-1 advantage in total number of key positions, plus having the key position that came the closest to ending the fight, I believe that Maul is the winner of the positions category. Now, before I come to a conclusion and declare a victor, I want to clear up any issues with Ahsoka and Maul's goals in this fight. Many people think that Maul was not trying to kill Ahsoka, and it's been debated whether that could have affected his fighting performance or not. I believe that neither Ahsoka nor Maul was trying to kill the other. Maul's goal was to teach Ahsoka a lesson.
I see the Padawan needs one last lesson.
And then get her to join him in his quest to kill Darth Sidious. Ahsoka's goal was to capture Maul and bring him to Coruscant to be brought before the Jedi Council. Therefore, neither fighter was trying to kill their opponent. Rather, both Ahsoka and Maul wanted to subdue their opponent so that they would remain alive and well for future purposes. As a result, Ahsoka and Maul's goals in this fight were pretty much the same, meaning that, in my opinion, neither fighter was given an advantage or disadvantage because of these goals. After analyzing all 5 of these categories, we're left with a 3-3 tie. Ahsoka won the hand-to-hand combat and overall damage dealt categories, Maul won the dueling and positions categories, and the Force category was a draw. To determine a winner, I want to take a close look at these categories and how meaningful they are in the grand scheme of things. Because the Force category was a draw, there's no need to discuss it further as it does not help to determine a victor. On Ahsoka's side, she won the hand-to-hand combat category because she outstruck Maul 4-2, which also allowed her to win the overall damage dealt category. On Maul's side, he won the dueling category by outdueling Ahsoka. Despite never landing a lightsaber swing, Maul managed to disarm Ahsoka 3 times. In addition, Maul won the positions category by being the fighter who came the closest to finishing the fight. Despite Ahsoka demonstrating very impressive martial arts skills and dealing significant damage to Maul, I believe that Maul's dueling and positions came much closer to ending this fight. Ahsoka definitely hurt Maul, but there's never a moment in this fight where it felt like Maul was in serious danger. Maul was captured in the end, but as I previously mentioned, without the support of the gunships for Ahsoka, I am confident that the fight would have continued. In contrast, Maul came very close to ending the fight when he had Ahsoka barely hanging on to the scaffolding. Without the distraction of his ship, Maul could have won the fight right there. In addition to getting close to ending the fight, Maul outdueled Ahsoka. I believe that Maul's superior dueling was more dangerous to Ahsoka than Ahsoka's superior hand-to-hand combat was to Maul. A great example to explain this is Count Dooku. Despite being an elderly man, Count Dooku is one of the most powerful beings in the Star Wars universe. When Count Dooku fights Anakin Skywalker, Anakin has a huge physical advantage. Despite this, Dooku is usually able to get the best of Anakin using his superior dueling abilities. Even though Anakin is stronger in the hand-to-hand combat category, Dooku usually wins with his superior dueling. Count Dooku is also extremely strong in the Force, but it's his dueling that sets him apart from others, in my opinion. Okay everybody, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. Considering all of the arguments that I've just discussed, with his superior dueling and positions, I believe that Darth Maul is the winner of this fight. Of course, this is all just my opinion. Do you think Darth Maul won this fight as I do, or do you think Ahsoka Tano came out on top? Let me know in the comments section below, and thank you guys so much for watching.